how you step into the room, how you present, all the visual aspects from your dress to how your poise and your carriage and those pieces. It's important. You might have a ton of knowledge and clinical experience, but what I always say when I step on stage is before I ever opened up my mouth, you decided if I had something to offer or not.
Welcome to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Anne Duffy. Dental Entrepreneur Women is here to dive deep and share stories with the mission to inspire, highlight, empower, and connect all women in dentistry.
Hello, everyone. It's Anne Duffy, and welcome to the Just Do It podcast. I have a very good friend. We've only been friends about, I think, maybe 4 years. But when I first met her, I knew that she had something special to share with the dental community. Let me tell you a little bit about her before we get started. Kelly Duggan, founder of Kelly Duggan Image Consulting, is a certified image consultant and coach with a 30-plus year career in dental hygiene. Since 1999, she has helped executives and organizations elevate their professional presence. An award-winning member of the Association of Image Consultants International, she empowers clients to project confidence and achieve success. And I have seen her do that with so many of our dues, and I'm so glad to welcome Kelly Duggan. Hey, Kelly. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much. I was really looking forward to our time here today.
I am too. I remember meeting you at Vanessa Emerson's Institute for Speaking.
Yes.
And I'll never forget, you popped up and it thought to me, this is something that we not only need if we're speakers and KOLs, but just showing up in a dental office, showing up in a bunko, coffee, any of these things. I think we can use a lot of help from you to make it simple so that we're not always like trying on 50,000 things and walking out the door like we feel like crap. First of all, dental hygiene. I love that you're a dental hygienist. And I also love your strengths, which I think lend themselves to what you're doing with image consulting. So I'm going to talk just a second because I also remember we did Color Me Beautiful.
Yes.
You and I had that in common. I did Color Me Beautiful like 40 years ago. And I thought that was really cool. And it's really true. And you are a Color Me Beautiful image consultant, right? Didn't you start that way?
Yes. Yeah. I started in a hobby business. I was working hygiene full time and had my colors done in 91 and was intrigued by it. I always liked fashion and style and started this little side gig of color analysis and makeup. And what I found is I really like makeup technique more than anything, and what happened on the inside, which we'll talk probably a little bit more about.
Sure, because you were a hygienist, which, all you clinical hygienists out there and general clinicians, it is really fun to practice clinical hygiene and have a side gig. So why did a hygienist become an image consultant?
Well, it fell into that inner part. When I was in my training, when you're learning color, you're no makeup, you're kind of raw there, and we're learning it. And these image consultants were all duded up and everything. And but what I saw in these women, and even for my own self, this inner confidence that came out, and women who were in tears because they saw the beauty that they had that was from within as well as on the outside. So the whole thought from the inside out, that's where that passion, I would say, was rooted. I was also raised by my grandma, family situations. My brothers and I ended up with her. And I saw this woman who had this, I would be curious what her strengths were because she was this hard charging, career focused in church education, has a building named after her and all these things. But sadly, she went to her grave not feeling she was beautiful, that her sister was the beautiful one and so forth. So combination of that working together and my past, it's like, I can help women, I can help men. I work with both men and women grow that inner confidence, that self-esteem, and that understanding that they are beautiful because there's no one cookie cutter way that spells beauty. So that's where I started. And I was practicing full time as a hygienist and went into part time, and the story goes on. But the side business started to grow. And then I was introduced to the image industry as a whole and joined the Association of Image Consultants International. And that kind of just grew to where I found this comfortable, happy hum in the image industry and went more into business or corporate image consulting. So the appearance piece, we still use color because color is fascinating, goes multiples of ways, but you could look great, but what's going to keep you in the door? So what I say, appearance is what will help you make that first impression strong and step into a door. But with AICI, if you're certified with them, it's on appearance, behavior, communications, and now digital presence. So what
Oh,
I teach and practice is a total presence model, that it's a combination of that. And then what's right for one person's going to be different than for another. It depends on what your own natural skill set is or what you've done. So I've worked with clients where we move right to, say, voice and how they can use their voice. Or I've had many others that we start with personal style development from the ground floor, where, style hasn't been anything that's been of interest, and or individuals who have a really nice style. But what I say is you can be strategic in all of it, how you think, look, act, and speak. You can be a heat-seeking missile to get done what you want to get done, that you yourself are your greatest asset.
and everybody has it, right, Kelly? Everybody.
Yes.
And that's so cool. It does lend itself very well to hygiene, because hygiene, we're creating beautiful smiles, and people want a smile is such a big part of somebody's ambiance and first impression, right? And so this just is another layer that none of us studied it. I mean, nobody studied that unless you were in fashion design. And
Right.
so, no wonder. I mean, you had a grandmother that made you feel like this was something that you needed to do, part of your calling. And a lot of women will say, people ask me, like, how did you get your style? Well, my mom and I went and we picked out fabric and she sewed my clothes. And so those are little teeny things that help me. And some women just don't have the innate interest, if you will, because you have to be interested in it, not necessarily in style, but you're working with KOLs and professionals. They know they need it, right? They know they need it, but they don't know where to start. I mean, a lot of times you don't get into that professional KOL until you're in your late 30s or 40s. So you got a whole closet full of stuff that isn't your color.
100%. Yes.
So
Yes.
what role does professional image and stage presence play in establishing credibility as a dental speaker or KOL? Because we have so many women that come into and men, the dudes.
The dudes, I love it.
They just don't know where to start. So how do you work with somebody that's just saying, help me?
Well, I think first it's that realization, understanding that how you step into the room, how you present, all the visual aspects from your dress to how your poise and your carriage and those pieces, and not to put fear into people here, but it's important. Yes, you might have a ton of knowledge and, say, clinical experience or know-how in a specific product or something, but what I always say when I step on stage is I get into my initial program usually is about this. And it's that before I ever opened up my mouth, you decided if I had something to offer or not, whether it was subconscious or consciously thinking, oh, I'm going to listen to her. Your brain's already decided. So what you want to do.
That is scary, by the way.
It is. Yeah, that is a little scary, but it's sadly the truth. So you have your audience already deciding whether you appear confident, credible, trustworthy, all those things that you want. And it's nothing that's difficult really to do. It's in simple things. What my work is built around is things that we've been doing since we've been born. Our brains have been functioning and moving, hopefully, a pure blessing if you don't have issues health-wise. But we get dressed, we move our bodies, we talk, all those things. So you might think, well, why would I need help with that? But then it's, again, where we think about presence, it's shaping it so there's continuity in it, so that you have consistency in it, so that it supports an authentic presence. So you don't need to be somebody else. You just need to be your best self, ultimately.
Well, that makes so much sense. And it's like a 1-degree shift when you think about it. I've just seen people up on stage, maybe the outfit doesn't fit them properly or doesn't seem to say much about them. There could be kind of drab. And sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone, but it's a lot easier to do that when you've got someone like you that's saying, I think these things will look good on you. Let's try them on, see which one you feel best in, right? I love that you're also putting in voice and stage presence. I'm assuming posture. We get coached in everything, Kelly, but the actual image of how we show up. And I'm thinking I need some help as well. And we all need help. We all need a little tweak to make ourselves better. And everybody that I know that's in wants to achieve their best self. Put your best self forward. You've got discipline, responsibility, focus, harmony, and belief. Those are so strong. Discipline and responsibility. You kind of exude responsibility and discipline to me. Just if you said something, I'd be like, okay, let's go. You have looked at it, you know it. You're a strong leader in that. And then focus is the new time, they say. If you have focus, it's more important than time because you can actually get more accomplished in a short period of time because you are focused I mean, that's got to be, I don't know where it is on my strengths. I should look at that because I'm like squirrel. I get a lot done in the day, but
Right.
I'm doing a lot of things that I could probably do better if I would complete one task and then
Okay.
move on to the
Yes.
other. But I
Yes.
know that about myself. So, I work on that, but I also give myself a little grace on that. And then harmony, you want everything to kind of go together and feel like it's a painting, if you will. And that's a perfect person to put somebody's wardrobe together, including their makeup. And belief is strong. And you probably take that from your grandmother who probably had
Yes.
strong belief. Like you say, she did so much, but maybe when she looked back, she didn't feel like she did enough. And I think that was because she didn't have that strong sense of confidence. It's all about that, I guess.
Yes, it is at the core, I would say. The clients I work with, that's the hum. If, when I ask for testimonials or your wins or your ahas through our time together, confidence, is across the board.
Yeah.
And then, that trickle effect, how it moves on out, how it impacts an individual.
And then you think about it, like think about your grandmother. Just think if she would have had this confidence piece on top of all the amazing things that she accomplished. There's no time like the present, if you're listening to this, to reach out to you for sure. I mean, we get people that listen to this podcast all over the place. You don't have to be a speaker or a KOL. You just might have to show up to your kid's soccer game and give the toast, or be the soccer mom, or show up to third grade and be the classroom mom. You still want to be able to gain respect from the minute you walk in the door. But since our audience is mostly dental KOLs, and I say KOLs in general, how can dental KOLs align their personal brand, image, and message to increase influence, speaking opportunities, and audience engagement? And this is such a great question because you don't just show up. You really have to prepare. And again, we need a coach to help us know those little nuances that's going to take your talk from good to great. How do you help them do that?
Definitely. Yes. When we had set up this call and thinking about how I could best help, where I'd say that people are representing themselves out in business. And, we may have been sitting at a chair or behind a desk doing things, and all of a sudden you're out and about and you need to really position yourself. So what I say is that alignment starts with clarity, back to my focus strength.
Back to your focus.
Focus. So, when we think about the most influential KOL speakers focused on your career development, however you want to look at it, is that they really know what they want to be known for.
Oh, okay.
So really focusing in, I would say that even myself, I mean, this isn't a one-time thing either. As I entered coming back to dental land, because I left, I've done work in a lot of other industries, big corporate, like I did work for Kellogg Corporation earlier in the year. And, so a lot of other places. Right now, I'm hoping to get in with a country club in our area to do dining etiquette work. So it's part of business etiquette's in my wheelhouse. So but now it is times change too, like thinking about Dee's last learning crew and thinking about how you're going to position yourself in this AI, whatever we want to call it, time and all these things. So we all need to look at what we want to be known for now. It needs to transition with us, and particularly don't want to leave any men out because I know there's some dudes that are part of us, but for women, we tend to wear more hats than the guys do out there and life goes on. So, again, that clarity, back to consistency and really understanding and defining and being strategic in what you want to be known for, which again, I'm looking at that for myself right now. So one way that you can look at it in the thought of, say, developing your personal brand and how it can support you in this is asking yourself a question on why should people listen to you? Really understanding and knowing why people should listen to you. For me, that's going to come back to me to the story that we shared about my grandma and my past. It's at the core. I had not even fully recognized how much it actually aligns with my strengths, my top 5. So.
Isn't that so cool? Well, I'm just thinking about when you even asked me that question, because I feel like I fell into because I was mad my friend was bullied. I mean, that's pretty much it. I didn't have like, I want to be known as running a movement for women in dentistry. I'm going to have to get off this call and like answer some questions for myself, because that's something you really have to like, it's like an onion. You got to unpeel so many layers to get down to the center and say, okay, this is what I want to be known for. Because I know you're known as an image consultant. I don't even know what I'm known for. I'm going to have to think about this, Kelly. I'm the oldest
caring
lady.
connector.
Caring connector. Okay, I'll take that. But I think that's really a great way to start, an easy way to start, but also the most important way to begin that process, because you think of how long it takes to get the notoriety, to get the money that you're hoping that you will make, not only just as a speaker, but as a person that people want to listen to. You don't have to be on a big stage. You could be in a room, again, like I was saying, with 10 kids, even those little ones out of the mouth of babes, they'll tell you what they think about your outfit.
Yeah, yes, they will.
Yeah, that's funny. But I think that, they really could use that, starting with what they want to be known for. And then where else do you go with that? Once you get that, then where do you go?
It comes back into that continuity and consistency piece. So how you're going to present yourself, thinking about your visual branding. So that's more than your dress. That's, again, it's your poise and your posture and carriage. It's what you have done in photography. Now, recently I've worked with actually a few different dues, one for TV, a couple for photo shoots, for dress piece. Just like we were talking earlier before we started the recording, Anne, you're talking about somebody has suggested, and I would fully agree, that a darker background is better for you because of the contrast it creates off from your hair color and so forth. So it's those little things, those small details. But when we think about how all the KOL speaker or somebody who's career-minded and whatever they're doing is, what are your social platforms like? Is there continuity in that, off from your presentation materials to your actual, if you have hard copy materials, all of it. So it's all cohesively working together. So it's branded and working for you, particularly if you are the face of your business.
Yeah.
Like I am. You are, your organization's growing, so it's changing in some aspects in a different manner. But what that builds into that is you grow strategic presence.
That's number 11. I don't have any strategic until I end up number 11. So you have categories, like you need your looks, your makeup, your poise, your voice, and what else am I missing?
Depending on the individual, you can go into the whole digital platform would be an area.
Right.
The appearance piece goes so many different directions, because if you are the face of your message, you're going to be out there in front of it. So people are going to see you out networking at conferences, retreats. So you think, like, how are you showing up at the next Do retreat? So are you there as somebody who's the face of their organization? Not to say that you can't have some down sloth time.
Right.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to be all dressed in heels and makeup done to a T, but put together, again, with personal brand, what I say is I'm very romantic, edgy in my style. So whether I'm dressed up or in my bathing suit or in my PJs, it's going to have a romantic, soft edginess to the look, no matter what.
And you know what? I have never seen you that you didn't have a soft, romantic, edgy look. That is your brand. You're walking the walk. That's responsibility and discipline. You're just like walking the walk every time I see you. I love all the different avenues. And I think it's funny. Appearance is so much more than just what you wear on your body.
And there's extended areas of image too. It could be, we talked a little bit about digital presence, how you're seen on camera or out in your social. But years ago, I'd pulled in for an appointment with a local college, and I came inside and she goes, I knew who you were out in your car. So she was watching me.
Oh.
So had I been in a heated conversation with my husband or picking my nose or doing something weird, I would have been seen.
That's another aha. Oh.
What are your extended areas? If you have people in your office setting. I had an appointment one time with a younger gal, and her desk was nice and neat, but all around it, she had bags thrown everywhere. She had a hairbrush halfway between her desk and one of her tote bags. And I can't even remember what else, but it was fairly disheveled. So yes, we might have working offices, but there's fine-tuned points. Like the hairbrush could have been picked up off the floor.
I mean, it is kind of like how important do you think this meeting's going to be or whatever. You know what I mean? There's just people have opinions. They're going to make judgments. And even though we say give people the benefit of the doubt, I think it's principle number 7, no judging. You're judged every time you step foot anywhere, I guess. It doesn't mean it's a negative thing. It just means that judgment could be neutral. I also love the idea that you can work with somebody on a photo shoot, because I have done photo shoots when I just like, I don't know, I wish I would have known this or that. Now, are you going to talk about that when we have the learning crew? Because I think that's a good piece for all of us too, Kelly, because everybody's doing a headshot.
Yes.
We're all got headshots and photo shoots, and that's another
give some
thing.
Pointers, give some tips on that. Yeah.
You could give a couple learning crews, dear. We want to hear it.
And when I think about that too, and back into the consistency and continuity and like what you're doing socially for photo shoots, it's like be you still. Like that's some comments I've had actually with a due client where she was saying she had some people who had photo shoots done and they don't look like the same person that you see and run into at a conference or a meeting because they've been done up differently and it's not them. And that could create a risk for you. What I always preach, it's in the little things. It's the details. It's the things you've been doing all along. You've all been getting dressed and you talk and you do your hair. And most of us have all been online socially. And most of us are doing really quite well. I always say, if I didn't put my arm around you and say, let's go have a conversation, we're doing good. But with that thought, it's just subtle tweaks, generally speaking, so that you don't have to run into your closet and think, oh my gosh, I don't have anything to wear, or the emotional roller coaster of getting ready for photos and what should you wear. I just worked with a fellow Jew who was in Mexico City speaking. She had 5 hours to speak. And so we were thinking about her comfort, but as well as what was going to support her in how she presented, to then also how you can use your voice. Another Jew I worked with was getting ready to shoot videos for a product that she was launching.
Okay.
And when we connected and met, great gal, but she talked so fast, I couldn't understand most of what she said. So we helped her work on pace and clarity and pronunciation and get her into a confidence with it.
Confidence, And then take that and then you build that muscle, right? So, I mean, then you don't have to worry so much about the things that you can change. And you just have to worry about your content and know that you're going to be showing up in the right way, in the right color. I'm even thinking like a lot of times I've seen presenters have slides that don't match. They're old or they just don't match their persona. And I think that's a whole nother thing that you can help them with.
That's a part of your extended image, those other visual extended image points. Yes. So,
and by golly, these young ones are coming up with that stuff. They're going on Claude and they're getting it spit out. And some of us that have been around for a long time still working on it. There's just a lot for us to learn. What's the most important thing that you see? The common denominator, I guess, is building confidence. What is the one tip?
The first thing comes to mind would be it's in the details. It's in those little things that can help you showcase your expertise, can give you authenticity, can help develop a communication style in how you visually to how you verbally and non-verbally communicate that's going to allow people to say when they're looking for somebody on a related area that they want that expertise, that they know you're the one to call for it.
Yeah, and that's what you want. But that's how you get yourself hired again. That spreads like wildfire. And boy, you can help all of us. I'm so happy to have this conversation today. And I've got some more questions. I'm so excited. Your learning crew is September.
Yes.
Of course, you're on the coffees, the Do Connect coffees on Wednesdays. And so you're giving advice, I'm sure. And then offline, how do people get in touch with you? So I know there's a lot of gals that are speaking right now that have opportunities ahead of them. They know their content, but they're not so sure what to wear, how to show up. And the other thing I loved about it is you want them to be authentic. Because somebody might say, well, you just always show up in like a navy blue suit. Like I'm thinking of Brandy. Like that's not Brandy. Can you imagine if Brandy Marzolinos showed up in a navy blue suit? I don't know. Maybe she'd be good. But I think that's not who she is. She's gorgeous and a little bohemian and just super cool. So anyway, so what do you think about that? I mean, the fact that you could be authentic and still just be very powerful. That's what everybody wants.
Right. And I would say, I mean, that's at the core of where my business started. I think back to color and personal style development. And personal style development's based on color, proportion and line, what fits your body, and your clothing personality. And then you apply it and put it together into a style for the dress piece of it. And it impacts hair and makeup and how it all coordinates together so that what's right for one person isn't another. So all you naturals out there who are looking at me like, heck no, man, I do not want to look like her. She's got too much makeup on and her hair's too done. And Right now it's melting and dripping because it's so humid here.
Oh, I love it.
But that's not the case. My goal and focus is to help you shine authentically in what is true to you. And it's built off from your own physical characteristic traits of your coloring and your bone structure. And then your clothing personality piece, it's a combination. It's guided by your bone structure and coloring, but it's also your likes and dislikes. It's your personality. It's your strengths too. I mean, that would feed into it. The personal brand assessment tool that I use, 360 Reach, partners with Strength Finders.
Oh, wow.
So we pair off from that in my advanced personal brand work as well.
So again, I started down that path of like, how do they get in touch with you? Because we'll have it in the show notes, but tell me, how does somebody, dudes and do's are guys
and
that support.
Yes, yeah. I work with men
dentistry.
too. Actually, I advise with a custom men's clothing collection too. So,
oh my gosh.
But you can reach me direct at KD, my initials, at kellyduggan.com. KELLYDUGGAN.com. Socially, I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can always call me direct, which is 269-873-1598.
Oh my gosh. Well, we will be calling you. I'm so happy that I met you
Likewise.
So many years ago and just that you've poured into so many dudes. We have seen so many grow, haven't we, Kelly? And there's so many more to come. They're all in line. Our doors are open. So if you're listening to this, join us. We're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina in November for our retreat, November 11th through the 14th. Everybody's welcome. Come sit at our table. We'll pour into you. And I think we've got some more information coming at the retreat from you. So, we're in good shape here, Kelly. We are really doing it, girl. We are doing it. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
For all of you that are listening, remember, and Kelly will agree with this, the most important thing you can do is to keep doing you. Thank you. Have fun. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Anne Duffy. To learn more about dental entrepreneur women, to share your story, or to join the movement, please visit our website, do.life. That is DEW.life. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app to make sure you don't miss an episode. And in the meantime, keep doing you.